machine. Wait a minute. Get on the good foot. Just get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene. Like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Anime said poke it. Show me your dance. I said thanks anime for taking a chance. Suddenly we on the dance floor, losing our minds. Then I heard the DJ say, poke it one more time. Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene, baby. Like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene, baby. Like a sex machine. Wait a minute. I dedicate this dance song to my boy James Brown. He still lives through me. I gotta bring on the sound. On your mark, get ready. Get ready, set, go. All you have to do is concentrate and let it flow.
Let it flow.
Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene, baby. Like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene, baby. Like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get on it. Get in there. 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 Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get out. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Baby girl, come on, girl. Come on. Throw your hands. Throw your hands. Move your feet, baby. Move your feet like a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get on the good foot. Get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene like you a sex machine. Wait a minute. Get on the good foot. Baby, get on the good foot. Break it down on the scene like you a sex machine. Well, baby. A big pokey bear. A big pokey bear, baby. I need y'all to get on the good foot, baby. Louisiana Blues Brothers.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. It's your boy Sly Jones. Let's see what we have in the chat this evening. And if I can get a quick mic check so I can know that everything sounds okay. We got Simply Deep. Welcome to the chat. Lockhead Boss Lady, YouTube celebrity. Representing the dirty South via Texas. Welcome. We got Beloved Princess, Big Facts. I'm happy I'm black. I'm black and I'm proud. Glad to have you here. All right, tonight we have a few things we're going to talk about. So again, if I can get a quick mic check, let me know if you can hear me. All right, I believe I sound okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right, tonight we're going to discuss Brian Mcknight first. Here recently in the news, Brian Mcknight's name has come up because his son went to Instagram and wrote this very long post about how his father was not there for him and more or less a deadbeat dad. So we're going to talk about Brian Mcknight and your thoughts on and opinions on that issue. We're also going to talk about Jay-Z and the NFL. A lot of people are calling Jay-Z a sellout. Colin Kaepernick actually spoke out recently about how he feels about Jay-Z's relationship with the NFL, and I look forward to hearing your feedback on the topic this evening. We're also going to talk about Eric Garner. There's some things about that case that really had me angry. You know, the cop, I guess his name was Daniel Pantaleo. He basically walked away scot-free with a $60,000 check from GoFundMe. So we're going to talk about that. And in entertainment news, we're going to talk about Dolomite Is My Name, the new movie starring Eddie Murphy that's going to be coming out on Netflix real soon. I'm really excited about that, so we're going to talk about that as well. So, again, welcome to everybody who was able to make it by tonight. I know that there are a lot of other YouTubers who I follow that are on right now, so I know there's a million other places you could be, but your fact that you're with me makes me really happy, and I really appreciate it. So thanks a lot for stopping by. All right, so first, if you're not caught up on the Brian Mcknight situation, here's a quick video. All right, my question for the chat is, do you think that his son has a legit claim? Do you think that it's just maybe sour grapes? Because I see this a lot, especially during like the NFL Hall of Fame speeches. One of the main things the players say when they look out to their wife and kids basically is like they weren't there. But then again, you can't build a multi-million-dollar empire without being out in those streets, 50 weeks almost out of the year. When you're not in training camp, you're on the road, hotels and training and injuries. And you face that for anywhere between 5 to 15 years. So, just like a military father, it takes you away from home. But these kids will never ever want for anything. So my question, I guess, for the chat is, do you feel like he's warranted? Do you feel like that Brian Mcknight has something to answer for? Or do you think that he really was a deadbeat, that he wasn't there for his kids? Because I don't see his kids starving at all. I'm pretty sure they have had cars, mansions, and opportunities to pay for schools. So, they've had a charmed life. Catching up with the chat. And don't be afraid to speak up. Again, there's no right or wrong answers here. I welcome everybody's opinion on the topic. Chat's mighty quiet this evening, so what we'll do is move on to the next music break, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Be right back.
Hello, Daddy. Hey, darling, quit by me on the phone. Yeah, Barbara, it's Richie. Yeah, look, I ain't never coming home no more. Take it easy.
I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. I guess I got it from my daddy because it's all in my genes. See, I'm addicted to banana, and you know what I mean. They said a rat with a one hole is a poor rat, but I ain't willing on it up. I ain't going out like that. Now if you see my baby and she looking for me, tell her I'll be home shortly, but I ain't coming home till 3. Even though I'm wrong, she know I'm coming home. Soon as I hit the door, baby, she say Big Daddy's home. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. See, this is the definition of a real man. See, when I'm with my side piece, she understands. All about my situation, all about my obligations. And when we on vacation, we in a unknown destination. You might find me in Morocco or down in Japan. You might find me in Mexico, chilling in the sand. You might find me in Africa. You might see me in Italy. You might find me in Jamaica. I got my baby beside me. Yeah, I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. You can tell my baby what you want to tell. You can say what you want to say. She ain't going nowhere. I got a lot of women, and they down with me. I represent Louisiana to the end. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home to be with my side piece. I left home, baby, to be with my side piece. I left home, to be with my side piece. Baby.
All right. Welcome to everybody who's new to the chat. We have PG Hill in the house. Welcome. We have River Bend out. What's up? Welcome to the chat. All right, tonight we're discussing a few things that have been in the news. Brian Mcknight and being accused of being a deadbeat dad. And a note in the chat here, PG Hill said that deadbeats don't take care of their children at all. At least he did something. And I have to agree. I mean, like I say again, these kids are going to live a charmed life. So, all the work that Brian had to do, being out on the road, being a celebrity, is not easy. And he made those sacrifices for those kids. At the same time, I'm pretty sure that they didn't want an absentee father. They wanted a man that was there. But if they want a regular old 9-to-5, $30,000 a year dad, that's on them. But hey, it's their life. So I hope they find closure in that situation. All right, now we're going to discuss Jay-Z. Now, I've heard a lot in the news about Jay-Z the past week because of his relationship with the NFL. So I'm going to play a quick news article about that to get you caught up, and then we're going to discuss it.
New questions about the NFL's partnership with Jay-Z as Colin Kaepernick responds to Jay-Z's contention that the NFL has moved past kneeling. Eva Pilgrim here with the latest on that controversy. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, guys. Jay-Z is hearing it this morning. Some calling him out for flip-flopping, once taking a stand against the NFL, now striking a deal with them.
Former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick seeming to throw shade at the biggest name in hip-hop after Jay-Z's recent press conference with the NFL.
I think we've passed kneeling. I think it's time to go into actionable items.
Kaepernick, who sparked controversy for taking a knee during the national anthem, hoping, he says, to draw attention to police brutality and racial injustice, pointing out players who continue to kneel in protest. Writing on Instagram, they have never moved past the people and continue to put their beliefs into action. Stay strong, brothers. Jay-Z's entertainment company Roc Nation inking a new deal to make the rap superstar the league's live music entertainment strategist. The partnership allowing him a role in producing and selecting acts for NFL events, including this year's halftime show, as well as contributing to the league's activism arm.
Colin's whole thing was to bring attention to social injustice, correct? So in that case, right, this is a success, right? This is the next thing.
The hip-hop mogul was once one of the biggest names supporting the protests. Just last year, Jay-Z boasted about not needing the NFL.
I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you.
And even reportedly tried to talk rapper Travis Scott out of performing at the championship earlier this year.
So Jay-Z, to be clear, says he isn't telling people not to kneel if that's what they think is best. He took a lot of questions about this when they made the announcement. He says he's an action person, and going on, he says, we hear you. What's next?
Well, that's the big question, right? I mean, he raised so many eyebrows with this announcement, but nobody has a firm idea on what exactly he's going to do in this partnership.
At this point, we all have to wait and watch and see what Jay-Z plans.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks,
Eva.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live.
All right, now I know a lot of people are 50-50 on this. Some people say what he did was sellout. Some people say what he did was savvy. Some people have also said that you have to pay to play and you have to get your foot in the door for change. And, if we're going to have all these social changes and have these athletes be treated like something more than slaves, then I guess maybe the Jay-Z partnership can help. At the same time, when he made that comment about taking a knee, when Jay-Z did, that was a slap at Colin Kaepernick. I mean, that was a direct slap in the face to everything that he stood for less than a year ago. And to see him sitting there smiling with Roger Goodell the way that he is, it just goes right back to, for me, Steve Harvey and Kanye going to Donald Trump. I know I'm not the only person that feels that way either, but for me, it's the same old. Eventually they're going to sell out for the money. The people are going to turn on them. They're not going to care. Jay-Z is still riding Beyonce's success, and you still have that wave of people that are not going to let you say anything bad about Jay. But I just wish he had gone about it a better way. I wish that he had maybe even campaigned for Kaepernick as part of his deal, so that he and the other gentleman that knelt and got blackballed would have a chance to come back in the league. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Cece, welcome to the chat. Cece's Uncut Variety Show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to her channel. She is awesome. Glad that you were able to make it tonight. What do you guys think? Is he a sellout? To me, I can see both sides, but I'm leaning towards sellout. I mean, the man has made of money. You know, he's made his fortune. But what is his goal? Does he want to be a team owner? Because from what I can understand, that's not going to happen. But maybe this is the first step in the right direction to black team ownership, maybe. Again, I'm really on the fence here. So, you know, I do value everybody's feedback and opinion. And again, welcome to everybody who was able to make it tonight. I know there are a lot of popular bloggers on tonight, so and we all come on about the same time too. So, and some of the shows are running late, so really glad for the people that were able to make it this evening. All right, we're gonna keep the show rolling. After the next music break, we're going to discuss Eric Garner and your thoughts on that whole situation. So when we come back.
some more. Baby, nothing means anything unless you're here to share with me. I can breathe, I can live, I can die in my sleep, 'cause you're always there in my dreams. I wanna spend time together. I wanna fall in love again, like we did when we first met. I wanna fall in love. I wanna spend time together. I wanna fall in love again, like we did when we first met. I wanna fall in
All right, everybody who's new to the chat, welcome. We have The Truth in the house. We have Miss Lisa Lakers. Always nice to see a new face. Welcome to the chat. I'm Slide Jones, and I want to thank you for stopping by tonight. We have Lady Nika. If you haven't already, please subscribe to her channel. All right. I'm just reading the comments here. Miss Lisa Lakers says, I got one feeling about the Jay-Z stuff. He's foulest ever. All he thinks about is lining his own pockets. He took money out of Jermaine Dupri's pocket to put it in his own, but trust me, it did come back around. Riverbend Out says, on one hand, you can't change unless you're a part of it. But then again, I've not seen what Jay-Z's tangible lists of changes somewhat is he really trying to do. The Truth says, what does he have to be a sellout? He walks the line to make the money. All right, so like I said, we got some different opinions here about the Jay-Z situation. Like I said, again, in my opinion, he could have done this better. He could have consulted with the community and, got the opinions of other people on his level, some of his peers. But, again, this could be the door opener for black ownership, black leadership in the NFL. So whether this is going to be worth it or not, we're just going to have to see. All right, PG says, thanks for the support. Just wanted to show some love for a bedtime. We'll come back soon. I want to thank you, PG Hill, and I hope to see you again really, really soon. Miss Lakers says, 3 Truffle right. He did it to make the money for himself. He don't care about nobody but himself. He showed that his whole career, all the way back to Dame Dash. Out of all people, it wasn't Sidney Poitier. It was, what's the old guy's name? Made the song Dayo. Light-skinned cat, older dude. I know that he had some things to say about Jay-Z in the past, about Jay-Z and Beyonce and their leadership in the black community or lack thereof. It was Harry Belafonte. That's the one. Yeah, he had a lot to say. Hey, Lisa, I've been really well, and again, I want to thank you for just taking the time out with us tonight. The Truth says, in Hollywood, you sell your soul one way or the other. First rule is to look out for yourself. When you make it up to the mountain, the people on top will knock you down, and the people below will pull you down. Yeah, I mean, that's another way to see it. I mean, I don't think there was any right. I mean, I think there was a better way, but if he was going to break into this relationship, somebody was going to have something to say about it. All right, moving on to the next topic of tonight. We're going to talk about Eric Garner and some things that I discovered when I looked into Daniel Pantaleo. for those of you that don't know, well, I'll go ahead and play the news article first, and then we'll get you caught up, and then we'll discuss it.
Now we turn to new developments in the Eric Garner investigation. Officer Daniel Pantaleo is fighting now to rejoin the force after being fired for the chokehold death of Garner. New York's police union was outraged over the decision to fire him in the first place. Garner's family says there's still more to be done. ABC's Eva Pilgrim downtown at the 1st Police Precinct with the very latest. Good morning to you, Eva.
Good morning, TJ. This was a decision that surprised many inside NYPD. Some of the top brass learning about the firing by watching it on TV. Ultimately, this was the police commissioner's decision, one he says he knew may not be popular with his brothers and sisters in blue.
This morning, the officer fired for the chokehold death of Eric Garner, filing an appeal to get his job back. 5 years after Garner died on a New York street, Daniel Pantaleo fired.
Every time I watch that video, I say to myself, as probably all of you do, to Mr. Garner, don't do it. Comply. To Officer Pantaleo, don't do it.
The police commissioner making the final call after an NYPD judge recommended Pantaleo be terminated despite his denials he used a banned chokehold. The judge finding his actions reckless during Gardner's arrest for allegedly selling untaxed cigarettes. That move triggering a fatal asthma attack. Garner's final words, "I can't breathe," uttered 11 times, becoming a battle cry for the Black Lives Matter movement. Mayor de Blasio putting pressure on the commissioner to act while on the presidential campaign trail, now saying the commissioner made the right decision.
Members of the NYPD learned the lessons of this tragedy. They acted on it. They did something about it.
But an outraged police union accusing the commissioner of bowing to public pressure.
The leadership has abandoned ship and left our police officers on the street alone.
Pantaleo's firing a measure of justice for the Garner family, who pushed for years but never saw charges filed against that officer.
Yes, he's fired, but the fight is not over. We will continue to fight.
I lost my son. Yeah. You cannot replace that. You can get another job, maybe at Burger King, okay?
Now, the family is pushing for the other officers involved to be disciplined. This as they are fighting for an Eric Garner law that would make police chokeholds illegal. Robin.
That's just their hope. All right, Eva, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephan.
Major headline here in New York City. 5 years after the death of Eric Garner, after that chokehold, the NYPD officer blamed has now been fired. The NYPD commissioner announcing his decision today before the cameras. He said he knows the police force will be mad at him. His decision comes after an NYPD judge ruled Officer Daniel Pantaleo used, quote, a prohibited chokehold when Garner refused to comply with police instructions. The judge had also said Pantaleo had been, quote, untruthful and self-serving during the investigation. Eric Garner's family and the police union both responding tonight to very different responses, and ABC's Eva Pilgrim leads us off.
5 years after the chokehold death of Eric Garner on a New York street, that officer fired.
It is clear that Daniel Pantaleo can no longer effectively serve as a New York City police officer.
The police commissioner making the final call after an administrative judge recommended Daniel Pantaleo be terminated despite his denials he used a banned chokehold. The judge found his actions reckless during Garner's arrest for allegedly selling untaxed cigarettes. The move triggered a fatal asthma attack. Garner's final words, "I can't breathe," uttered 11 times, became a battle cry for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Today is a day of reckoning, but can also be a day of reconciliation. I've been a cop a long time. And if I was still a cop, I'd probably be mad at me. I would. You're not looking out for us. But I am.
But an outraged police union accusing the commissioner of bowing to anti-police extremists.
The leadership has abandoned ship and left our police officers on the street alone.
Today's decision caps a painful journey for the Garner family, who pushed for years but never saw state criminal or federal civil rights charges for that officer.
I should be here with my father, but Pantaleo took that away from me on 7/17. Yes, he's fired, but the fight is not over. We will continue to fight.
Eva Pilgrim with us live tonight from police headquarters here in Manhattan. And Eva, the Garner family, they're vowing to fight on. They want action on the federal level now?
That's right, David. The family says they want an Eric Garner law making police chokeholds illegal. Meanwhile, Officer Pantaleo has filed an appeal. He's hoping to get his job back. David.
Eva Pilgrim leading us off. Eva, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
All right, checking back in with the chat this evening. Forgot to give a shout out to Jennifer Lindsay. Welcome, Jennifer. She's one of my loyal watchers. Sorry I didn't give you a shout out earlier in the chat. I didn't see that you were here. Mr. Rock Music, welcome back to the chat. All right, catching up with the chat. Mr. Rock says, I feel that our community looked to the wrong people for franchise responsibility to properly respond to the kneel of the anthem. I wish that more military people, more law enforcement brothers would step forward, because if they speak on it, then their white brothers will tend to fall in line, because when you're in the military they see green, and when you're in the army they see blue. Even though that there's racism in these forces, they will still align themselves with their black officer before they will their black neighbor. Miss Lisa Laker said, there's been so many deaths since he made the deal. I haven't seen him voice any opinions, have anything to say. Even when the police officer got fired in New York, I haven't heard nothing out of his mouth. Okay. Mr. Rock says, as far as the commanding officer losing 20 days, the struggle is very clear on how they look at our citizens in the community. All right. Miss Lisa Laker says, but then don't put yourself out there like you're doing stuff for the community and say no one can pull you down if you're out there for yourself. Say you're just out there for yourself. Okay, so it sounds like we had a couple different conversations going. We're talking about the Jay-Z issue, and we're talking about Eric Garner. So welcome to anybody who's new to the chat. Just to give you a recap on what we're discussing tonight. We discussed Brian Mcknight earlier and his accusations of being a deadbeat dad by his son and daughter. We're discussing Colin Kaepernick firing back at Jay-Z after the NFL deal. We also discussed Eric Garner's death. Well, right now we're discussing Eric Garner's death. The Truth says, when you learn a chokehold, they teach you what to look for. They tell you to think about the time you have the hold in place. Don't lay on them. If you put your weight on them, they can turn deadly quickly. Miss Lisa Laker says, my dad was a cop. My brother was a chief of police. I come from a family of blue, and my brother was shot once, and my dad is dead now. He was 89 when he passed. He was shot 3 times before, but he always shot just catch the criminal. He never shot to kill all my brothers. Okay. The Truth says, manslaughter is very tricky. If someone dies while fighting with you, you can be held liable. All right, Mr. Rock Music says, it's very, very hard to remain professional when you're responsible for a community that doesn't respect you. That's definitely true. All right, Miss Laker says, Jay-Z from New York, okay. Why was he not there at the press conference? Why have you not spoken out on it? Why haven't the NFL said anything? Here's your chance to show us. My thing about Jay-Z is his timing was impeccably wrong. When you take into account the Eric Garner decision being made in the same week, damn near, that he makes this deal with the NFL, was a slap in the face to a lot of people. So I think his timing was wrong, if anything. But as far as Eric Garner and these cops, I don't have any trust in the police. I'm not saying that because I'm black. I'm saying that because from the bottom of my heart, almost every cop that I've ever met in my life was a dirty motherfucker. Whether I went to school with them, whether we were friends growing up, people I went to high school with, or the dick bag biker cops, the ones who belong to the Klan. And oh my God, here in the South, it's even worse, because most of the black cops are sellouts, and most of the white cops are Klan, redneck, whatever. And I have friends on YouTube and colleagues, associates who are First Amendment auditors. There's a gentleman by the name of News Now, Justice James. I'd suggest that you subscribe to his channel. He's a First Amendment auditor in Virginia. He goes around, and if you don't know what a First Amendment auditor is, they go around and film the police. That's those guys that are usually screaming, hey, what's your name and badge number? You know, what's your reasonable articulable suspicion? Have I committed a crime? Was it a felony or misdemeanor? Like I say, you hear the same things over and over when you watch these videos. And they call themselves auditors, and like I say, they're testing their First Amendment rights, their right to free speech, their right to free press. And there's a lot more of them now. And it's as much as it helps gain transparency and expose the cops for the bad things, the wrong things that they do, or when they violate our rights, it's also putting a target on their backs and their families' backs, and has these police forces in their local communities watching them. And I think it's very dangerous for those auditors out there when these cops are willing to retaliate. You know, if they're willing to choke a man out over loose cigarettes, you know, what do you think they're going to do when they catch you out there filming them when they are doing dirt, and they know that you caught them doing dirt? Your life is over. There's nothing that you can say and nothing that you can do to stop those cops from retaliating or getting a case against you. Again, a lot of these auditors are getting lucky because there are judges that follow the Constitution and federal law. But there's a lot of these courthouses, post offices that just don't tolerate that. And I have a feeling that it's about to get worse. Because one of the takeaways that I got from watching both of the Eric Garner videos we just watched was that the police are angry that they had to fire this guy. I'm like, wait a minute. The cop didn't die while on duty. I don't even think Eric Garner raised a hand to that man, punched him, hit him, kicked him, didn't do anything to him. Yet and still the police are mad because their boy got fired. What are your thoughts on that? No. Here's something else that really upset me about this too. Now, this Daniel Pantaleo, whatever his name is, raised over $60,000 in the past 2 days on GoFundMe. Now, Eric Garner's daughter, anybody want to take a wild guess as to how much she was able to raise on her GoFundMe? Again, this has been 5 years in the making. And Daniel Pantaleo, the thug, the asshole, the jerk that he was, they raised $60,000 for him in 2 days. Eric Garner's daughter was only able to raise $958. $958 after all that pain, all that marching, all that anger. If everybody who simply marched donated $1, then that family probably millionaires. Yet and still, when it comes time for black people to look out for ourselves, look out for each other, that shows you how we feel about each other. So we can't always worry about how they're going to do us, how the police are going to do us, how white people are going to do us. Look at the lack of support that we show each other. $958. Get real. All right, just checking the chat. Hey, Dr. Vic. Always nice to see a new face. Welcome to the chat. All right, Lisa Laker says, when someone says they cannot breathe, you do not let them go for what reason. You continue to hold on. You can do a lot of things besides continue to choke that person. Mr. Rock Music says, as far as the NFL topic, why not have all the black players bought their position at the table of negotiators negotiating with sides a playing contract? That's a good idea. Since when do we rely on entertainers to solve issues in the community? That's why we elect politicians. Yes. It goes back to that old Dave Chappelle skit. I don't care what Ja Rule thinks about 9/11. I need real leadership right now. I need to hear from the President of the United States. I don't want to hear from some hip hop star. You know, pimp my ride. We're not pimping rides here. We gotta national emergency. You know, we need the right qualified people to talk about that. But very rarely do we have that in the black community. You know, even in the White House, we got a guy that's over HUD who's a brain surgeon, but he is qualified for HUD because he lived in public housing. That's how they think of us. So that's the reason why they don't mind having a Steve Harvey or Jay-Z or somebody like that to come to the forefront and speak for us. All right, Truth says, very simple, make it a crime to turn off your body cam, make it a law to turn it over the body cam to the public. Well, Truth, you can actually request a Freedom of Information Act request with the local PD. If you're stopped and there's a camera, you can do what they call a FOIA request to get access to the body cam. But don't be surprised if it disappears like they always do, or gets deleted or ends up missing, because that's how these crooked ass cops operate. All right, Dr. Vic says the kneeling phase is over. It's time to heal and take necessary actions to address those social injustices that kneeling brought to the limelight. So what do you think is the next feasible step, Dr. Vic? So marching isn't working, kneeling isn't working. What's the next thing that we have to do to get the nation's attention, to bring attention to the social injustice that we suffer through police brutality? Mr. Rock Music says, clearly there aren't enough jobs. If Garner had to sell cigarettes, these are all political issues that directly affect income. That's right, and I'm not going to let my kids starve. If I got to sell bootleg CDs on the corner, I'm going to sell bootleg CDs. You know, I mean, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, you know, I feel like I should be able to make a living. And even if I am caught, I mean, let it be a misdemeanor, let it be, you know, a slap on the wrist. You don't have to take a man's life for actually going out trying to make a living. Laws give a community character. Bad laws, bad community, bad outcome. That's Mr. Rock Music. Hold leaders accountable. I agree on that. But the handful of leaders we do have in the black community, either politicians or celebrities. Again, we have a major vacuum of leadership in the black community. Every time we have a problem, who do they call? They call Jesse and they call Al. Neither of which have any clout in the black community as of 2019. At least not where I'm from. And then if you call Farrakhan, and you automatically lose half the group because of the people that don't believe in Farrakhan or his practices. So you're going to ostracize and alienate a lot of people by having him speak for us. All right, Miss Lisa Laker says, I have one brother that's an FBI agent. He just started to leave a test for us that's going around from different states to retrain police. Yeah, but at the same time, when you have a cop that's not even from the neighborhood, that's enforcing, you know, that doesn't know the people, that's willing to jack up somebody's grandmother over a minor case or cause, you have a disconnect. But we're not raising our kids to become police. We're not encouraging them to move towards that field, so we're not going to see us in our community. And when we do, these guys are so jaded and angry. I've never met a cop that just wasn't angry. They act like robots. They talk like robots. They walk like robots. They ask you the same questions over and over. They have no personality. They don't talk to you like normal human beings anymore. It's almost like they're brainwashed. I mean, at this point, it's really scary dealing with the cops. Thank you, Riverbend. Yeah, please do like and subscribe and share on social media. It's a big help when you share, especially on Instagram and platforms like that, so that people can share the message, because I love to hear different opinions. So, again, thanks for that, Riverbend. Mr. Rock Music says, the guidelines for government assistance are outrageous and unrealistic to live by or with. The leaders I'm referring to are the mayor, the governor, the higher-ups, even the commissioner. Hold them accountable. No, they're not going to be held accountable because of their power. There's a lot of money flowing into these police benevolent funds, these fundraisers that they do, the golf courses they play at, the shoulders they rub, the industry people that they are close to, and they're protected almost like the mafia. That thin blue line is impenetrable. All right, we're going to take one more music break, and then we're going to talk about the entertainment news of the week. So stick around, and I'll be right back. All right, Riverbend, thanks for that. I'm glad you let me know that there was no sound. That's why I love my moderators. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to anybody that you see that has a blue wrench. Each one of them are YouTubers. Hey, CB, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. And thanks to my moderator for letting me know we didn't have any music right there. So we'll move on to the next topic. And that is the Dolomite movie starring Eddie Murphy. Just to give you a quick breakdown on that. According to, let's see. According to Mike Fleming Jr. on the Deadline website, Eddie Murphy is about to return to the screen for the first time in a while. He's starring in Dolomite Is My Name, a Netflix film which begins production June 12th about the life of Rudy Ray Moore, the star of the black exploitation Dolomite films. Now, Rudy Ray Moore worked in Hollywood back in '70, recording obscene stories of pimps and hustlers. He started in a club act where he gave himself the name Dolomite, and then started generating records that mixed humor with ghetto fantasy, pimp game type stuff. Now, even though the album covers were too nasty to show in stores, the records did become underground hits. The proceeds allowed Moore to finance the 1975 film Dolomite, which he starred in as a kung fu capable pimp ghetto hero who stuck it to the man. Moore followed with 3 sequels. He continues to be an influence for the likes of hip hop and entrepreneurs like Snoop Dogg, and had something of a comeback back in the 2000s. So here's a quick clip of Eddie Murphy in Dolomite.
It's showtime, y'all. You love him and I love him. Put your hands together.
Dolomite is my name. Hey, you know, Auntie, I was thinking about putting out a comedy record.
Comedy? You been a singer, a shake dancer?
It's real hard to break in. I do whatever it takes to get in. I come up with a new character. Dolomite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game.
What'd you do to your hair? You look like a pimp.
It's all pretend. I just created a character.
Dolomite, you a trip.
Pull on that.
Oh, that's a wig.
That's right. Whatever it takes, I'm ready to do it. I got to be totally outrageous.
It's filthy. You've got a product here that you can't sell or promote.
All my life, people been telling me no.
Rudy, sometimes our dreams just don't come true.
A man slam a door in my face, I just find another door. I want the world to know I exist.
You can write. This ain't funny. And it ain't no brothers in it either.
If I get up in that light with my own movie, I could be everywhere all at once. Let's bring Dolomite to the screen.
The actors we hire, you're a bit doughier than them.
Doughier?
Hey, that's Durban Martin.
I'm offering you a role in my new motion picture.
You think you could just walk up here and hire me? No.
What if we let you direct?
In storytelling, it's always best to write what you know.
Ain't nothing to talk about in my personal life. I deal with the nightlife, club owners and mobsters and lots of pimps and kung fu.
Do you know karate?
No, but I'm a fast learner. I can learn how to chop me a motherfucker.
Action.
Dolomite, give it to me.
Put your weight on it.
Pretending like he could be a sex machine. What planet is this cat on?
Damn!
This thing flops, you're gonna be working for free for the rest of your life.
I'm so grateful for what you did for me, because I never seen nobody that looks like me up there on that big screen.
God damn, Dolomite.
Great God in heaven, you know
Cut. Was it good as Shaft?
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, if you those of you who are new to the channel, I actually have a adult reading session of Dolomite in one of my earlier, maybe about 5 or 6 videos ago. So if you have a chance to go to my playlist, check out that Dolomite video. It starts about 10 minutes in, and I believe I did 2 readings: The Signifying Monkey and another poem. I believe was it Petey Wheatstraw? It was one of them, but you have to check it out. All right, going back to the chat. Hey, Ruled by Venus, I'm so glad you made it to the chat this evening. Thank you so much. CB says, I don't care for Eddie anymore. Stop being funny when he put on a dress and the Nutty Professor. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of my Cat Williams video. How many people gave me feedback about Kevin wearing a dress. I don't know. If it was anything other than Dolomite, I wouldn't be interested. But if I had to think of any comedian to play Dolomite, because Eddie lost me with the whole Disney thing, the Nutty Professor, and oh my God, it was some other movies that he did that were just, terrible. The one where he was supposed to be God or an angel or something. That movie was just fucking weird. So, yeah, and then there's a rumor now that Eddie is in talks with Netflix for maybe anywhere between 50 to 80 million for his stand-up special. And I guess the hype surrounding Dolomite would probably help drive those negotiations forward for sure. But I can't think of anybody else that could play Dolomite who's alive right now, because he was just such an outrageous character. But if you have a chance, man, you got to watch P.D. Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law. I watched the original Dolomite. Now, Disco Godfather, you can bypass that one. That movie was just terrible from beginning to end. It was just not even really Dolomite. It was just something I guess they just made to fit in with the little disco era, but it was, that one was rough. That was a rough one to watch. But as far as the original Dolomite, it was innovative for its time because the man probably had a budget of $1,000 or less and shot that entire movie. A lot of the movie was in one take, and yeah, you got boom mics in the background in the shot, and you see things you probably wouldn't see in most movies. But he was a pioneer. He was a legend. He stood his own 2 feet, and that's the thing I admire most about Dolomite. He didn't take no shit from nobody, and we don't have a lot of brothers like that anymore. We got the D.L. Hugleys of the world, and we have Eddie Griffin and Paul Mooney. We got a handful that are still left, but none of them did it how Dolomite did it. Not even Red Fox. Even Eddie was known for filthy comedy in his days, but there was nothing that compared to Dolomite. Well, there was. I take that back. There was the LaWanda Page, from Fred Sanford show. LaWanda Page was nasty. Wow, that old lady had a nasty mouth. So if you ever get a chance to check out some of her clips too, Pipe Laying Dan. Yeah, look up LaWanda Page, Pipe Laying Dan, and you'll laugh your ass off if you ever listen to that. All right, Miss Rock Music says, I believe what hurt Eddie's career was that he catered to white comedy and that killed him. I think it was picking up that tranny. When he picked up that tranny in Hollywood, that's when everything about Eddie changed. He stopped doing stand-up. He started making cartoons and making these really weird, catering to white people type movies and comedies. So that's true. Eddie made too much too fast. That's the curse of being in too much. Yeah, because in the 80s, they used Eddie in everything. Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3. Some of the other stuff that he was in back then. He was hot when he was hot. And then he started making music videos and, all this other stuff. And, yeah, he got a little full of himself. Miss Rock Music says a great Queen Bee would have been Monique. Yeah, I think she would have made a good Queen Bee. But if you haven't seen Get On Up, the James Brown biopic flick, my girl, God, what's her name? I made a video about her too a few months ago. Jill Scott. If you haven't already, check out my Jill Scott video too, the one where she was making love to the mic. But yeah, she acted her ass off in the James Brown bioflick as well. So I look forward to seeing her take on Queen Bee. They kind of look alike too if you kind of look at them in the face. She does look a little similar. All right, now after this last music break, we're gonna move to the chop it up session of the chat. Everybody gets a chance to express themselves, anything they didn't get to say earlier about the earlier topics. Again, we discussed Eric Garner, we talked about Jay-Z, and we also talked about Brian Mcknight. So, around here we can walk and chew gum at the same time. So if there's anything that you have to say about any one of those topics, feel free to share. And if anybody wants to, I can even open up the phone lines tonight. So think about what you want to do after this music break, and we'll be back.
What do you do when you know something's bad for you and you still can't let go? I was naive. Your love was like candy, artificially sweet. I was deceived by the wrapping, got caught in your web, and I learned how to bleed. I was praying your bed and devoured completely. Oh, and it hurts my soul, 'cause I can't let go. All these walls are caving in. I can't stop my suffering. I hate to show that I've lost control, 'cause I keep going right back to the one thing that I need to walk away from. Yeah. I need to get away from you. I need to walk away from you. Get away, walk away, walk away. I should have known that I was used for amusement. Couldn't see through the smoke. It was all an illusion. Now I've been licking my wounds, but the venom seems deeper, deeper. We both can seduce, but darling, you hold me prisoner. Oh, I'm about to break. I can't stop this ache. I'm addicted, you're alone, and I'm feeling for a cure. Every step I take leads to one mistake. I keep going right back to the one thing that I need. Oh, I can make this sort of state I'm in. Getting nothing in return. What did I do to
That was Christina Aguilera with Walk Away. And again, the lines are open. The number to call is 605-313-5384. I'm going to go ahead and get dialed in. Anybody wants to call, express their opinion, tell me that the show sucked. Whatever you want to say, you can call in. The number is 605-313-5384. The extension is 165287. I'm getting dialed in right now.
Welcome. This service is provided by free conference call. If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. If you do not, thank you. There is one host in this conference.
All right, we got that horrible hold music playing. So anyone that would like to cut off that terrible hold music and spare me over here, you can call 605-313-5384. And just in closing tonight, I want to thank everybody for stopping by and expressing their thoughts. One thing that's really been on my mind heavily is YouTube, future for my channel, expectations, things that, goals that I have. It's great that I reached 14,000 subs, and some people see that as noteworthy. But for me, if I could start it all over again, which I've actually thought about, I'd rather have the small family structure that we have, where there's only usually about 10-15 people in the chat, where everybody can talk and express their opinion. With that being said, I feel like there's a YouTube cult movement happening among a lot of the larger YouTubers, and it's like if you don't belong to these cliques, that you're not worthy. For instance, I guess there's a YouTuber by the name of VS, who I'm not really that familiar with, but I guess she must be YouTube God, because everything that she says, everybody stands on, and either they're on her team or disagree, or if you disagree, then you have a lot of people that come down on you, block you, mute you, whatever. There's also T.S. Madison, who a lot of the YouTubers that follow me follow T.S. Madison. Let me see who else. Baby, F-Y-E Babe, I guess. There's another very popular YouTuber who everybody talks about. My thing is, I don't understand why people can't just agree to disagree. Why there has to be such a cult following when it comes to these YouTubers. You have YouTube channels dedicated to talking about other YouTube channels. And that's what's hot. I mean, these channels will have 700 or 800 people in the chat at one time just to listen to them drag somebody or gag somebody or roast somebody or whatever. And then it's always some kind of beef. Somebody will break away from them, cuss them out. Then you got 20 videos talking about the cussing out. I think that shit is whack. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say fuck it. Let's lay it out here tonight. I think this shit is silly and it has a lot of negativity, but I realize the bullshit sells. And I'm cool with that. I don't have to be down with the bullshit. I would hate to think that I have to beef with anybody or have to gag or roast somebody to have people come to my channel. Because just like I have 14,000 subs and maybe 10 or 15 loyal people that come to my lives, there's also larger channels that have 400 or 500 people listening at one time and only have like 60 or 70 likes. So what does that tell you about the other 400 people that are there listening? Most of them are there just to see a train wreck or listen to some woman go off, for an hour, 2 hours at a time about nothing. I mean, absolutely fucking nothing. You know, you have your Real Housewives channels. That's cool. Your reality show channels and whatnot. I understand that. You're actually talking about subject matter. You know, and people like a good story. I'm a Game of Thrones fan, so I get it. I like power too, so, you know, if I've got other people to discuss that with, that's cool. But a lot of these other channels are just full of nothing but black female dick riders and a bunch of faggots who just keep a lot of mess going. And the more mess, the better. They even invent and create mess to have mess with each other. If I ever thought I'd have to stoop that low for views or subscribers, I would shoot myself in the fucking head. I like my peaceful atmosphere that I have. Some people may find it boring, a little too quiet for their taste, and I understand it, and that is absolutely fine. I'm not here to blow up on YouTube. You can check my Social Blade status. I've probably only made 26, 27 videos since last year, which is about 2 videos a month, which is about right. Because of my crazy work schedule and things I do in my private life, it's hard for me to, I like to do research. I don't want to just come on live and not have anything to talk about or just ramble or talk about somebody else. You know, I really want to do my homework and discuss what I discuss intelligently and from a non-jaded perspective. So for those of you that appreciate that, you know, I'm glad to have you here. And like I said, it's not a knock to any of the other YouTubers out there that are quote unquote more successful or have bigger followings. That stuff doesn't concern me. But what is scary is like when you mention TSCC, I guess it is. Either you're down with TSCC or you're not, or you're down with Lipstick Alley or you're not. To me, it's just unnecessary bullshit. Then again, I'm not a woman and I'm not a faggot. So maybe I see it from a different point of view. I just don't see the entertainment value of any of that. But share with me. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what it is that this appeal that exists with these people. I'm sorry. I think we got somebody on the phone line. Who do we have on the line tonight? I'm sorry. Who is this?
This is Lisa Lakers.
Hey, Lisa Lakers. Glad to have you in the chat, and glad to have your support. Talk to me. What's on your mind tonight?
You know what? I have been on, watch them, you said them channels with like 160 and like the Tasha K's and all the Madison. Your show with just the followers you have is such a wonderful, professional, nice, family-oriented show compared to all those shows. And I really mean that. I really love your show. It's so family-oriented. So much better. No drama. You know, everybody just speaking their mind. No arguing. You know, I like that. So, congratulations.
Well, one of the things I'm proud of, Lisa, and I want to thank you for that, is that I've never once had to block a troll on my channel. I've never had to mute anybody who said something I didn't like. And out of all the moderators I have in here, not one of them have ever had to kick anybody out of the room. And I like having an atmosphere of neutral ground. And, you know, and I do have some YouTubers who I talk to that are with the bullshit, you know, that are, for lack of a better word, turned up at all times. But I do have a lot of respect for them. One of those is Lockhead Boss Lady. And if you haven't, please subscribe to her channel. She's a young lady from Texas, and she tells it like it is. She's a lot more raw than I am on my channel, but I love her for that.
Now, what's her name?
Lockhead Boss Lady.
Lockhead Boss Lady, okay.
Lock like dreadlocks. Boss Lady, yeah. She's awesome, and she tells it like it is. Who else do we have on the line tonight?
Hello, this is BB.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Channel.
Can you say your name again?
BB.
Hey, PB, welcome to the chat. Hey, glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm new to your your channel.
All right, what are your thoughts about the channel so far?
I like it. I think I'm home. I agree with a lot of what you were saying. I didn't catch the beginning of the chat, only came in at the end. And I didn't know how the discussion went on Brian Mcknight, but I did have opinions on that situation.
Well, tell us about it. What are your thoughts on Brian Mcknight and his kids and their accusations as far as him being a deadbeat and all that? What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, from what I heard, I was agreeing with him with the tough love thing up until I heard him say that his now wife was the only reason that he was continuing a relationship with his children. To me, that was asinine and ridiculous. And also, I heard that he said that he was estranged from his 17-year-old daughter, and the reason in that situation was because he heard that she was essentially being sexually assaulted by an older cousin, and he tried to intervene, but they changed the phone numbers. Now, at that point, as a parent, me myself would have went to the authorities, but he decided to just let the whole situation slide. So something with that didn't sit right in my spirit. And lastly on him, these things couldn't have just started at the point that these children became adults, the boys. So I think this is something that he's done throughout their lives, and they're finally just speaking out on it. Now, I understand that he has some videos of him singing with his kids. That's all just for show, I feel. And, yeah, that's pretty much what I got from him.
Yeah, and I'm glad for your input and your feedback on that. And like I say, I didn't hear his whole side of the story, so I'm glad that you did say that, because oh man, now that you said that, the more scummy he looks to me.
I couldn't understand that as a daughter and being a daddy's girl, that if I was being molested by somebody, my daddy would actually change the phone numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
My daddy would have caught a case. As an officer, he probably would have killed the person.
And I didn't want to say that and incriminate myself. I said I would call the authorities, but just so to incriminate myself, I would call the authorities, but it might have been some furniture movement.
Nah, I'd be ready to rip somebody's head off and talk to it. You know.
Exactly.
Then the more I hear about Brian Mcknight, the more of a scumbag I guess he's coming across in this. You know, but again, I tried not to be too judgmental about him, but at the same time, you know, these kids waited so long to come out and say. So how old are these kids now? In their 20s?
One I think is 29, and then the oldest I'm guessing, I think he's probably about 30. I guess they're not too far apart. But the other thing is, he brought these revelations out. Like, why would you sit on a public platform and say, oh, I tried to stop somebody from molesting my child, but when they changed the phone numbers, I just gave up. Huh?
Yeah.
So that right there, that's crazy.
That's nuts. And I didn't even realize he had done that. So, you know, you brought that to me.
It came out of his mouth.
He also said that his older children was mad because he started another family and have younger children now, so that's their problem.
Okay, but now that they're 30, I mean, in his defense, you know, now that they're kind of old, you know, they should be able to move on with life. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, when he passes away, he'll leave them enough land, enough, you know, enough estates, enough cars, you know, to leave them a legacy for their children, their children's children, should they not squander it, you know. But but he is entitled to living his life, and he can't go back and change what happened, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
You know, but I would hope he would
he
make
still has
amends.
a minor child. he still has a 17-year-old that he hasn't done right by. So he really needs to look himself and figure out if this stuff is really going on with my child, maybe I need to get custody. Maybe I need to get the police involved. Not, I'm just going to give up because they changed the phone number.
Yeah, that's a cop-out. And if he really loved his family and was the man he was supposed to be, then, yeah, he was supposed to do a whole lot more than just let that go. You know, you have to defend your family. And there's not enough black men there's not enough black men in the home as it is. You know, and for him to have such influence, I hate to see him squander that, because this is a good opportunity for him to mend those fences, to sit down with his kids, to take a month, take 2 months, take 3 months, and just spend time with them. Just
go on
travel.
vacation or something, right?
Yeah. You know, and I want to see that happen.
I haven't Googled and seen how much he's worth lately, but the way he been performing and acting, I think he don't have a lot of money now, because he was singing on street corners. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, so I
can
understand.
A lot of times, I'm sorry, baby, I don't know. Go ahead.
I didn't understand what was going on with that. I'm like, okay, he's singing on street corners with a guitar and a suitcase out there. I'm like, when did he start doing that?
And a lot of times the men start a new family and then they forget about the old family. So I'm not too sure, like I said, that this just started when these boys became grown. I think this is something that's been festering, and it's been going on since they was younger. Even when he said, I'll never miss a child support payment. Child support payment does not replace time or love or affection, none of that. You can send a check all day long, but if that child doesn't feel that you love them by you showing time with them, going over to see them, taking them out and doing things with them, then that means nothing.
But let me ask you this, though. When you're on a 20-city tour, 30-city tour, you know, you're in Dubai one week and you're in London the next, and even in the life of an NFL or Major League Baseball star, you have that absentee fatherism, you know, where you have this millionaire father who's successful and you see him on TV more than you actually see him at home. You know, is that just part of celebrity? Because something has to be sacrificed when you go on the road that many days, when you're dedicated to that many people, signing these contracts and everything, so that your family can live a charmed life. Yet and still, they still want daddy at home.
Have you seen where some of the celebrities have actually taken their children with them on the road and stuff?
And they can afford to hire a tutor. They can afford to have even the mother. He was married to their mother, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go on tour, if you have the resources, you can take your family with you. It's not a problem. So I just see him as just an uncaring person. And being famous is not excuse for neglecting your children.
Right. And when you hear him sing a love song, he sings with so much conviction. You know, the guy is so talented, and you think that he would have the most open, loving, giving heart, especially not only for the woman in his life, but for his children. That's all he sings about. And he, like I say, he sings so passionately. And, you know, even in his heyday, Brian Mcknight was a showstopper. You know, he was that man. And, you know, just to see, you know, what his career and what his family life has become afterwards, to me, I kind of feel sorry for him, but not really sorry, but, you know, I just wish that, you know, he'd open his eyes and see that.
My dad made every way possible to be there. I don't care if he had to. Yeah, and he was a police officer. You know, they work long shifts. He was a homicide detective. And if I had a baseball game, if I had a boxing match, if I had a basketball game, if I had a volleyball game, if he had his partner with him, or he might have been 5 or 10 minutes late, I might look up when the game first started, he went there, but 5 minutes later, he's walking in.
Right.
Right, but look at the
And
trade-off,
that's the thing,
though.
people wear masks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
People wear masks, and you don't have to have children. If you know that your lifestyle is too chaotic and to the point where you can't give your children the time that they need, then don't have children.
Right.
I mean, a child is not
a dog.
Something that is, yeah, thank you. It's not a pet. Now, it's a lot of, like you were speaking of, the youth out here, hey, that's what it brings. That's free. When you don't have time for your children, it's looking for attention in a way, in a negative way. They're reaching out. They want a connection with somebody because their parents didn't give them a connection. So now you got people out here cussing people out 5 hours at a time, hating on people, want to see people fail because they are hurt. And they just want a connection with somebody.
And as I lost my dad to cancer when he was 89 and I was 47. And thanks. And it felt like our bond was so close. I mean, it's been 6 years, but I'm still,
You don't get over that. You don't get over
right.
that. I lost my mom last year.
No money he left me. I didn't want that. Nothing. All I wanted was my daddy to hold him, to touch him, to kiss him, to talk to him. No amount of money can ever replace a parent or them being
a loved one.
That's the worst feeling in the world. And I always tell people that say, oh, I hate my mom, I hate my dad. You know what? Till you lose one of them, you would never ever know a pain it's unbearable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a certain level of appreciation, too. Sorry.
I'm going to get off here and let y'all finish up. I appreciate you.
Thank you so
I'll talk
much.
to you.
Yeah,
Y'all
thank you
have a
so
great
much.
evening.
Thanks for calling in, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay.
All right, that was PB in the chat. We have beloved princess in the house. Glad to have you in the chat tonight. Let's see. We got Pink Ice in the house. Welcome, Pink Ice. Ruled by Venus. Thank you for coming in. So, again, the topics of tonight were Brian Mcknight, Colin Kaepernick with Jay-Z, and the NFL situation. We discussed NYPD and Eric Garner. And we also discussed the new movie Dolomite coming out on Netflix. If there's anything else you guys would like to say, anyone would like to call in on any of the topics or just to chop it up, the number here is. And if I got somebody that can post the number again, it is 605-313-5384. The extension is 165287. So, true for beloved princess. Anyone you guys would like to call in, feel free. Miss Lisa Lakers, thanks again for calling in and supporting the channel. All right, beloved princess says, I lost my daddy to pancreatic cancer last year. Our family's still devastated. Cancer is a devastator. One disease that we have that runs in my family actually is kidney disease, and we have people that suffer with that as well. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to love yourself, and don't ignore problems when you see them. If you have constant headaches, if you have a certain ache or pain that doesn't go away, or lightheadedness or heaviness in your chest, feel like you can't breathe, don't overlook those things, because they could be symptoms to much bigger problems. And we tend to want to wait and let things blow over, but we can't do that, especially as we get older. We have to take care of ourselves. So sorry for your loss, beloved, but let that be a reminder that our days here are finite, and that we do need to love each other, take care of each other the best that we can, and enjoy our company while we have it. because tomorrow is not promised. Mr. Rock Music says, don't know about Brian McKnight's circumstances, but it's too deep for my comment. Dope Action, welcome to the chat. Pink Ice, thank you for being here as well. Brian did say they had a weed problem like 30 years ago. I don't know any Hollywood kid that doesn't have a problem. Even the young actors from our era, all the way from Different Strokes to the Family Ties kids, all of them had a problem. All those rich kids. You know, they were exposed to things early in the industry. You know, they were in those houses where those so-called mansion parties and stuff took place, and they got to see a lot because there was nobody to really protect them. All right, Riverbend says, I think there's a lot on both sides. They need family counseling. I would agree. I'd call, but the last callers might get mad at me. Call in, Truth. Call in and speak your truth. You know that, you know my channel. You know, you can be honest and say anything that you want to say, and you're not going to get kicked off, muted, or booted. So you can call in if you feel like it. Our family was already close, but his passing made us even closer. That's a good thing, beloved princess. And, you know, the biggest takeaway we can ever have when we lose a loved one is to grow our family bond stronger. And then we also have to step up. You know, every time we lose an elder, each one of us has to step up. You know, all of us cousins become aunties and uncles, and parents become grandparents. And everything that they taught us, you know, we try to pass along and teach the ones, you know, and we also want to live a better life. You know, if there's things that, you know, habits that they had, whether it was smoking, drinking, those sorts of things, you know, we always want to be better than our parents. And, you know, no bigger reminders when we lose them, you know, how much they had to teach us, how much they left with us. So, you know, I'm glad that your family is able to, you know, and coping is hard. But I'm glad that your family is closer together, even though, you know, through this difficult time. All right, Miss Rock Music says, I don't earn as an entertainer, nor do I know what it's like to be the child of one. Sometimes it's hard to comment on a lifestyle I've not experienced. And I think that's most of us, Mr. Rock. None of us know what it's like to be millionaire kids and have the world, you know, handed us on a silver platter with no education or anything, you know, not even having to work. You know, all they have to do is wake up in the morning. That's it. They don't have to hit a lick at a snake. They don't have to go in a studio. They don't have to clock in, punch anybody's clock. So, yeah, maybe that's a lifestyle you can't comprehend, because what do you get for the person that has everything, right? All right, who do we have on the line?
The Truth.
Uh-oh. We got The Truth on the line. He says that he might have some things to say that might be a little controversial. What you got to say, bro?
Alright. There's always two sides to every story. And you can interpret whatever you want. But no one takes the fact that those kids were spoiled brats. He threw money at them because he couldn't be there.
Okay.
They, in turn, you know, took all the money. Then when he cut them off, they want to tell stories. Okay? Tabloids pay for these stories. Plus, it's another form of blackmail. I'm going to tell these stories about you unless you go ahead and start paying my bills again for me.
So what you're saying is he cut them off when he stopped breaking that bread is when they had something to say. And he broke it, you know, he went on to his new family and he cut them off.
Well, it wasn't even about that. He took care of them. Now, he told them, I'm going to give you 2 years to get your life together. Okay, this gave them 2 years to put their life together and start living it and earning their own. The 2 years was up, and all they wanted to do was smoke weed. That's what he said. The wife even gave them jobs. His new wife gave them jobs where she worked. They didn't want to go to work.
All right, checking in with the chat. Truth, HTHTV3, welcome. One of my OGs, one of my original supporters. Glad to see you here. Says in the chat, pardon me, but from what Brian Mcknight shared via the live chat he did, seems like his offspring may be a little spoiled, entitled, and told him that he's better off to him dead than alive. Wow. Dope Action says Brian should just ignore it and let it go away like everything else. It's just complaining. What do you think? Truth?
Well, here's the thing, though. He's on tour right now, okay? And he's covering the U.S., and then he's going abroad for a while. He's hitting major cities. He's going one city after the other. He's doing a show almost every single night, with maybe one day off here, one day off there. By them releasing this story right now, they're hurting his ticket sales. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. And he saw the drop in his tickets. So he's trying to head it off. He's trying to put it out there like, hey, that's not me.
So you think his live video is more or less a PR move?
Yeah, he's just doing PR. I've seen his show. He talks about his wife, his current wife right now, that he loves her, that she is the love of his life.
Yeah. So.
And you know, he's away from her right now. He's touring. He's by himself. He's not there. She's not there. He's touring by himself. So it's kind of suspect to me that all of a sudden you put this out there, and then the fact comes out that you got cut off.
And the way that he wrote that, you know, when you write as much and as passionately as his son did on Instagram, that was something that was a long time coming, but seems like it was probably the result of an argument of some sort, because you don't just blast like that unless something happened. Something was said, words were exchanged, and he wanted to make sure that he got the last word. So all of this sounds pretty viable. Let's see. Riverbend said it won't let you call in. Let me make sure we got the right number. Let me see. 605-313-5384, extension 165287. And there was somebody else new in the chat that said that they wanted to call in as well. And I believe that was Harry. Harry, always nice to see a new face. Welcome to the chat. If you want to call in, please dial the call-in number. And I'm hoping Riverbend can get in too. It's 605-313-8384, extension 165287. Is there somebody new on the line? What was that? Do we have somebody new on the line, or is it just Truth still?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Okay, I thought I'd heard the beep or something like that weird. But yeah, the kids do sound spoiled. They sound entitled. But do you think, what do you think that would be the best course of action for Brian to take at this point? If you were in his shoes, what would you do, True?
He said what he had to say. Just let it go. If they keep talking, he said what he had to say. And they know that he's not gonna, you know, after he said what he said, I guess they thought, well, okay, that didn't work. That's what they lived off. They lived off him.
Right, like Ruled by Venus says in the chat, he overcompensated financially because he wasn't there physically or emotionally for his kids. And when you get somebody used to that meal ticket and you all of a sudden cut it off, yeah, they're going to be sick because they don't have any other viable means of making that sort of income. They don't have the education. They don't have the talent. You know, even with his sons being singers and all, I've never heard a Brian Mcknight Jr. album, song, collab at all. I'm pretty sure he's a talented kid, but I haven't heard anything from him, so.
Well, here's the thing. He's a musician. You look at, there's very few musicians that have a marriage that lasts very long. Especially one that's traveling, especially one that's on the road all the time, especially one that's out there. I mean, even big stars like Garth Brooks, he stopped. He put his career on hold because he said that his family was becoming affected by the days and the amount of time he was on the road. And he said, I'm putting everything on hold because I want to see my children grow up. And I can't do that in this industry because it's not them that's saying, hey, I want to go out on the road. It's demanded by the music industry that if you don't go out there and you don't please your fans and you don't show yourself, you don't put out new music. I mean, that's another thing. You think these albums just write themselves? These guys lock themselves up for weeks, months, years, writing these things alone. Just watch some of the stories on VH1.
Yeah, Truth. CB in the chat says, what about his daughter? Because all the emphasis seems to be on his son in his Instagram post. But what about his daughter and the abuse allegations and all that she suffered from a family member?
I'm not going to speak on that story because I didn't hear anything about that story. I don't know anything about that story. But you know what? I will look into that. I will check. I have avenues that a lot of people don't have to look into things like that. I'll look into it. But again, I didn't hear that on anything big. And something like that, they would have ate that up.
Yeah, I would think so.
You understand that? The rags live off the downfall of people.
There wouldn't be a TMZ or a National Enquirer if it wasn't for people's downfall. Go ahead, True.
Hey, I'm actually my cousin, River Ben. So she's here with me right now. She can't call in. It keeps knocking her down. So you're probably going to hear her in the background because when she said she was calling in, I moved myself down to where she is.
Okay. Well, if there's any way to hand her off, please do, because I do want to hear her voice tonight. And I'm sorry that the silly chat thing won't let her in. It's supposed to at least allow 3 to 4 people in at a time. So not sure what's going on. But hey, River Ben, if you're there, please grab the line.
Hi, how are you, Sly?
Hey, River Ben, welcome to the chat. So glad to hear your voice again. And I'm really, really honored to have you here. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to River Ben Out and to The Truth. They got some really cool channels, so be sure to hit them up. But what's on your mind, River Ben? Talk to the people.
I was just, the whole Brian McKnight thing kind of breaks my heart because the new wife that he has, well, after looking into some things, because I really, really, really do like Brian McKnight, come to find out his new wife had got his son a job at the hospital that she works at, making $18 an hour, but he decided he didn't want to do it.
Wow, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, so she can't be that bad of a person if she got them a job. They're 30 and I think like 27. So from my understanding is he gave them 2 years. Like, I wouldn't give my kids 2. It's just, it is what it is. You better get out there and fly. So he gave them 2 years, everything paid to get themselves a degree or an associate, or even get themselves in college, and he would have extended it, so he said, if they were working towards something. But they didn't do anything. After 2 years, they had nothing, and then they got angry at her. He actually got them a job. I forgot exactly what she is at this hospital, but most people don't make $18 an hour. But they want to turn their nose up at $18 an hour. That's a good living. That is a good living, especially if you have no experience in the medical field.
Right, and I would think they'd be able to
And
support
I heard-
themselves.
Yeah, they just want what their father was giving them, but then they're not their father. But they do have good voices, because I looked a little bit deeper, and I looked at old Brian McKnight. I Googled and I did the search on YouTube. He used to promote them very heavily. Like, there is him, that he used to have them on tour, doing things, and he said that they would not want to do certain things. Like, I think sometimes when you're born into a fluent situation, that you think you're just entitled to just because your parents work so hard, they're supposed to give it to you. And unfortunately, I think that might be the case with that. That's just how I feel about that. And as far as the girl, who he said what that was somebody, he admitted what he did, and he tried. It's only so much a person can do. When, just to be honest, we're late. If you don't want that man around, you can beat that man down.
Yeah.
Talk about, I'm sure there's lots of men who try to see their kids, and the baby mama has beat them down. That's not a rich person's problem. That's anybody kind of problem.
Right, and I think we have somebody new on the line. Who do we have?
Hello?
Hey, who is this?
Hey, I'm Abdul. Sorry, my mic is messed up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead and speak your mind. Tell us your name again, and tell us what you think.
Am I live on the show? Oh, okay. My name. My name is Abdul.
Okay, Abdul, and you called in. Talk to us. Tell us what's on your mind.
Okay. So what happened was you said that Slade Jones is on the show.
Yeah, I'm Slade Jones.
Hey. So the problem was when I first called before a while ago, when I said the first part of that, it was I tried to use my head, my brain to really know what I was saying. I usually try to speak before I talk, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And not part. But some people say that, and I say potato, tomato. It's the same thing, you know. And I'm here because I wanted to call in. I wanted to get you the insight on the partnership with NFL.
Okay, and I'd love to hear your feedback on Jay-Z's partnership with the NFL. And take your time and explain your side. Tell us what you think.
It's a long one. I originated back in Egypt. I'm not full American. I'm actually from Egypt. I speak Arabic. And it's been a while since I've been to America. I've traveled far before. I've been there for New York. Have you been to New York before? Have you heard of that place? With the apple of capital. The apple. The big apple. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the capital. Albany, that's the name of it. Nice there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, always the capital.
Can you hear me, man?
Yes.
I can't hear you all that well.
Okay, well, I've got the speakerphone up about as loud as it'll go. So, but if you do have a point to make, please go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So I've been back there, and I said to the first NFL thing about it. I'm not much of a fan, but I do keep up to date with what's going on in that area, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the people who call me dumb or he's dumb, he doesn't know English or the word. And I say to them that I'm much smarter than you think you are, you know. And I try to tell them that I speak fluent English. And they say, oh, you know, I've been with the struggle of that part. I grew up from the Bronx and all that. But that's what my parents went to that. And they say that, and I just say that I'm not smart. My English, it is very, it's good sometimes. I try to learn about it.
Okay, but what were your thoughts on the NFL specifically?
Sorry, I got off topic a bit. My apologies. For NFL, the football team of what is it called? I think the Red Sox. Red Sox. Yes. See, I've been watching them for a while. I know the guy Dolemite. He throws the ball, he catches it one hand down the line. Now he's very good at that. I've seen that part of that far away. Now when I played football back in 2009, I was on the line for defense, so I do understand where he comes from on that part. It is tough. It is hard. You have to run laps. The coach said, "Oh, do this, do that," and I say, "Okay, well, you probably have to do it." I'm the coach. And I do many things. Do you know what I mean?
Right, I'm trying to follow and understand, but I don't see how this applies to the current topic as far as Jay-Z and the NFL. But again, I do appreciate you calling, to express yourself and to let us know who you are.
Understand what I'm saying? My language? Is my accent too thick or what?
No, I can understand you loud and clear. And I guess Farsi is your native tongue?
Yes. I mean, you don't have to be all rude about it. It's not as well. I mean, you could say that it's not as good as other, but I know when I'm from, I speak the better English,
Right. Well, again, regardless of your English, I'm so glad that you called. Go ahead, Riverbend.
I'm sorry, I missed one part of what you said. What did you say? What team were you a fan of again? I'm sorry. I like football too. I just couldn't make out what team were you a fan of?
The Red Sox. Red Sox.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if my accent's too thick, but
yeah, but
it's Red Sox.
You want to hear my opinion on that?
Yeah, please tell us your opinion on that.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yes,
Jay-Z did not make that deal overnight. That deal has been on the table for a very long time. Now he may have
Jay-Z made but one song. He's got one song that made by one song.
Yeah, but he may have pulled that deal back when all the Kaepernick stuff was
Do you
going
know
on.
that one song that he sang before? I'm trying to remember it. It's Jay-Z. He's a rapper, right? He made that one song.
Yeah, well, he's made several songs. But speaking of, again, I want to thank you for calling. But we do want to try to stay on topic tonight.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
But what I'm trying to say is that deal was not made overnight. A deal with the NFL takes years. A lot of negotiation, a lot of back and forth.
in my heart every single moment that we spend apart. I need you around for every day start. I haven't left you alone. Something about you staring in your eyes.
All right, mic check, mic check. I think we'll plug back in.
All this time away is killing me inside.
All right, I think we still have Riverbend and The Truth in the on the call-in line. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. And if that last guy was a troll, I'm really sorry about that. I know his English isn't very good,
Well,
but
I was trying. I was trying to understand, but I thought he was trying to say, "What is your opinion?"
right, I was
What is
trying to
your
follow
opinion on
along,
what you-
but he was rambling so much about his family and where he was from and such, so it kind of threw me off base a little bit, and I wasn't able to kind of comprehend that. But I'm glad he called. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about Jay-Z. Jay-Z has Rock Nation. They are agents of the players. They negotiate contracts. Jay-Z has an involvement with the NFL for years now. he represents plenty of players in many different sports. Okay? If you're an agent, you have to play nice with the NFL, or you don't get to come to the table. A lot of the NFL deals are a give and take. Okay, I'll take that deal, but hey, I got this other guy over here. I need to get that deal done too.
So, Truth, in your opinion,
a lot of the NFL contracts will do the same. Yeah.
right now, earlier in the chat, you mentioned that you felt like that Jay-Z did what he had to do to make the money. But do you feel like that was a sellout move? And if not, why not?
No, I mean, he's a businessman.
I'm torn, to be honest. I'm really rooting for Jay-Z. I really, really, really am. But I understand about you need to have a seat at the table to change what's going on. I get that, and I stand by that principle. Some people view you as a sellout, but if you don't have a seat at the table, then you don't have a voice. But on the other hand, I'm hoping to see, I understand about tangibility. I need to see what he's trying to accomplish. He has not spelled that out yet. That's what's making me iffy on him. What is your tangible things? I understand, like the Black Lives Movement, I was all for that, but I need to see a list of obtainable things that we're demanding and asking for. That is obtainable. You keep going. You dig, I need this. Okay, next I need this. Okay, next I need this. I don't see that right now, and that's what's scaring me about Jay-Z.
Yeah, and I don't see that he has everyone else's best interest at heart except for his own. But then again, it's not, the onus shouldn't be placed on him to have to speak for every black man. But if he had never worn Kaepernick's jersey, if he had never stood for the cause, then I wouldn't be so surprised at him and the action that he took. But like Truth said, this was a long time coming.
In that interview, you're right, because in that interview he said, okay, we're done kneeling, time to move on. Okay, I get you said that. We got your attention, we kneel. Okay, what are we moving on to? But he didn't lay that out, and that's what's scary.
Right. Well, guys, it is after 12. I hate to wrap it up now, but looks like after the sound issue we had, we did lose most of the watchers. So I'm so glad that you and Truth called in tonight. You guys are loyal followers of the channel. I really appreciate the time that you guys take. And Truth, I haven't forgotten about you either, man. I still want to work on that one video about climate change, but I've been so extremely busy that I haven't even been able to work on the
I'm with you, brother.
stuff that I wanted to.
I'm with you to the end, okay? I'm going to ride with you to the end, okay? When the wheels fall off, I'll still be there as it drags along, okay? So just understand that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's the kind of support a brother really needs. And, you know, to the Regulator family, to all my new subscribers, to everyone that's listening, you know, I want to give everybody a sincere thank you for the time that you take to listen to me. Like I said, I don't have the perfect channel, you know, still working out little minor bugs and issues, but for the most part, I've got, you know, very loyal followers who will come by, even if it's just to leave a like, even if they don't have the time to listen. You know, if it's subject matter that they're not really interested in, they'll still drop by. And from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate that. So Riverbend and Truth, I'm going to shut down the call-in line, but is there any final words, any shout-outs, plugs? I haven't seen Private Iris in a while, so if you guys see Iris in the YouTube streets, definitely give her a shout-out. Darlin Red, or I think her name is, what's Darlin Red's new name?
Lady Blue. Yeah, Lady Blue now.
Yeah, Lady Blue has come through to show love on the community tab too. So let her know I really love and appreciate and miss her as well. Miss Lisa Lakers, thank you for calling in. Dope Action. Mr. Rock Music. Everybody that stopped in. I really want to thank you for your time. And hopefully I'll start posting more often. maybe at least once a week. And if there's certain things you guys want to talk about, drop me a line at therealslyjones@gmail.com, and we can talk about anything. Like I say, I have yet to block anybody, mute anybody, even trolls. Trolls can be a little fun too. You know, I've even had people call in talking about their encounters with space aliens. So when you're live, you never know what you're going to get. Matter of fact, Truth put out a video tonight, so if you haven't already checked out his video, click on The Truth. If you click on the 3 little dots at the end of his last quote and click go to channel, make sure you do that and hit subscribe. Do that for anybody that you see that's in the blue, and make sure that you support their channels. Riverbend, I'm going to let you have the last word tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say to the family before we cut out?
No, just everybody be blessed and have a good day tomorrow.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Riverbend, again.
Hey, Iris.
Go ahead.
Iris put out a video also. Iris put out a video today too. Stop on by and show her some love.
All right, I'll make sure I do that. And again, that's Private Iris. That's private, and then I_RIS. Be sure to subscribe to her channel as well. And one recurring theme that you'll see with some of the bloggers on my my moderators rather, is that they make videos specifically about this one person, and I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to let you guys go to their channel, subscribe, look at their content, and make up your own mind. But I don't even want to say her name at this point. Go ahead.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, brother.
Today she released a video and said she is the most cyber bullied person in the world.
Well, I might as well say her name now. I don't want to leave anybody in suspense. We're talking about a lady by the name of Essie Berry. Essie Berry happens to be the 5th ex-wife of Fred Rerun Berry, the guy from What's Happening and from the dance groups he belonged to. He was also on Soul Train every now and then. You see him dancing in the background. But yeah, she was the wife of a celebrity, and I'll let you tell the story. Like, you can tell it a lot better than me, True.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. You know, I got it. Only time Truth comes is when we want something to eat. We want that Hennessy pound cake.
All right. Okay. Essie Berry has dedicated the last 6 years to stalking Steve Harvey, but that's not what this is all about for me. It's about she scams people out of money. Today she released a video that said someone did research and said she is the most cyber bullied person in the world. Out of everyone in the world, she is the most cyber bullied person.
Even though she's the most cyber bullied, even though Steve Harvey probably hasn't thought about her in the past 5 or 6 years after the Mary Harvey divorce and her interference in the divorce. And if Essie's listening right now, she can go straight to hell as far as I'm concerned. I don't say that about a lot of people, but I hate to see a scammer. I hate to see a con artist that takes advantage of people. I went to her website the other day. What's it called? Something One. I mean, it looked. Even her website looks scammy.
No more disrespect1.com.
Yeah, and she's got these Getty image pictures of these people, white people, black people, whatever. You know, and it looks so corny. It doesn't look as corny as her airbrushed picture that makes her look younger. I guess the one that she thinks that's cute with her head cocked to the side or whatever. I get so sick of seeing that. It doesn't. I mean, it's not even a realistic depiction of who she is, but she thinks it's cute and whatever. But like I say, Essie Berry is got to be. I don't know. I've met some YouTubers. I've seen some people that done dirty things, but not nearly as dirty as she is. And then, like I mentioned earlier about these cult followings, and I noticed that she's got 3 or 4 people that follow her like a cult leader, or look up to her like she's a preacher, or she's a teacher, she's a activist, and all these other things, where she doesn't have the education, the background to do any of the things that she claims that she is. And now the word on the street is that she's in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's what she says, but she hasn't left California. That was more of a scare tactic for some of the people down in, like her sister, who happens to be in Georgia also. That was a scare tactic for her, to make her sister believe that she's coming down there for her, because she believes her sister is the key to getting to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, my channel is not monetized. I don't ask anybody for money. Why? Because if I was to disappear tomorrow, there's no trace of me anywhere. I'm covert, and believe me, you can't hack me, you can't do nothing to me. And that's the way it will stay.
And I'm glad that you're there to tell the truth, because if it wasn't for you and what regulators do, I would have got suckered right into her shit and supported her, maybe sent her money, felt sorry for her, because I felt like that Steve Harvey was doing something to hurt her, because I was on on the anti-Steve Harvey thing after he went to go see Trump, because I'm definitely not a Trump fan. I'm not a bleeding heart liberal either, and I think you know that. And I haven't really discussed my politics much, but I'm not a bleeding heart liberal. I don't totally lean left on my politics, but for him to go see Trump, I felt like was a low blow. And so yeah, I wasn't the biggest Steve Harvey fan. So here's this lady who comes around and says, well, look at all the dirty, horrible things that he's done to me. And then come to find out none of it is actually true. Steve Harvey is not trying to keep Essie Berry from getting a job. I'm pretty sure if she fills out an application at Goodwill or at Family Dollar somewhere, they'll hire her. You know, she's not lacking of a job because of Steve Harvey. She's not a celebrity, so to blame Steve Harvey for her downfall or for cyberbullying or whatever, if she got off YouTube tomorrow, nobody would really remember her. So, her whole situation frustrates me. It frustrates me to hear her talk and to see her people that support her and her fuckery. Now that is something I just can't tolerate. And like I said, I don't talk bad about people very often on my channel, but when you're a scumbag, when you stoop that low to take advantage of people, and you use the Lord's name in vain, and you use religion, and you use a couple go-to Bible verses to make people think you're this great person when you're not. When your track record, your jail record, the warrant that they have for your arrest says otherwise. So, like I said,
she does have a warrant for arrest, and yes, she has done some despicable things, like took money from the family of a dead man and didn't give it back. I mean, I could name 50,000 things that she's done to individuals outside of Steve Harvey, because this has nothing to do with Steve Harvey. I have nothing to do with Steve Harvey. This has nothing to do with Steve Harvey. But that's the topic she chooses, so that's what I choose to prove that she's lying about everything.
Right, and I'm so glad that you're out there to do that, Riverbend, all the regulator family. So again, check out their channels so that you can actually see who and what we're talking about, to expose this scammer and this con artist, and to keep her from taking advantage of scamming anybody else out of their money or misrepresenting anyone as a social activist or a law attorney or whatever she claims to be, because she's none of these things. She's not qualified to be any of these things. And if you know somebody who follows her channel or listens to that crap, guide them to the regulators. Guide them over to Spook's channel, Spook TV 7, Truth, The Truth, Riverbend Out. Let me see, Private Iris. Again, all of these YouTubers are dedicated to exposing her and and bringing the truth to the forefront. So please check out their channels. Truth, again, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you again for coming by. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the phone line. But again, man, God bless you. And keep an eye on your email, because I'll be in touch with you real soon.
All right, brother.
All right,
Have a good night.
Riverbend, love you. Thank you so much for calling in. Again, you guys are like family, and I want to thank you so much for your support, Riverbend. All right, we're going to go ahead and get ready to call it a night, but I want to thank everybody for your support. If you'd like to email me, I'm available at therealslyjones@gmail.com. I'm also available on the community tab, so drop a line there if you'd like. If you have any suggestions, criticisms, anything that we can do better here at the channel, you can always let me know. My ears and eyes are always open to improvement. Like I said, I've made some minor upgrades. Got a new microphone, getting more familiar with the software. So I do want to offer you guys a better show. And I wanted to get better every time. And one good thing, one good thing that you can do is share. Again, share on Instagram, share on Facebook, share on your YouTube community tab. Share the word with like-minded people so that we can all come together and have these kind of grown folks discussions where nobody is chopping each other's head off or angry at anybody for having a different opinion. That's what this channel's all about. So again, all my regulators out there, Pink Ice, Beloved Princess, to all you guys, I want to thank you. Dope Action, thank you for sticking around. Lisa Lakers, thank you for your input tonight. It was a lot of fun. God bless you guys, and I hope to see you again real soon. Thank you.